All right. So I think we can, start with the session today. We're hoping more people join in during the session, and to all the participants, first and foremost, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Ishita. I am from Team Wellcure, and I invite you all to our platform. Wellcure is a digital natural healing platform where we regularly conduct events and workshops related to natural healing, natural living. We have several blogs in the body wisdom section, which talks about, how to live a more sustainable and a life which is more close to nature. We have a good repository of delicious, healthy recipes which are oil-free, gluten-free, and following the plant-based philosophy, whole foods plant-based. In the health journey section, we also have several stories of people who have healed through really chronic conditions just by living a life that is absolutely close to nature. And if you want some inspiration, you can go through those stories, those healing journeys. We also have a Q&A section where there are nature cure experts and practitioners who are there to advise you, in case you have any health query or question, to guide you on the right path. And also, if you wish to stay updated on, any of the workshops that we are conducting, if this is a philosophy that is close to your heart as well, then please keep a check on our website, www.wellcure.com, as well as the app. You can download it, and we regularly update all of the events and workshops on both of these links. So just a few points before we begin the session today so that we have a smooth running session. We have disabled the microphones. However, if you do have any questions, please feel free to post it in the chat and we will be taking that up from there. We would also request you to completely focus on the workshop because it's an important one and we wouldn't want you to miss out on anything important. And also, we are very, very open to taking up questions, but it will be taken up when the presenter is open for it. So, intermittently or after the session, we will definitely take up the questions. So please bear with us, be patient. We will come to your questions for sure. And also, we would like you to rename your devices with the registered names so that there is no confusion. So today is a complimentary session, and what will be covered today is a basic pregnancy education, few do's and don'ts during pregnancy, some common discomforts which are experienced and how to effectively tackle them, and also very important, the role of exercise in a healthy pregnancy. Followed by that, we will be taking up questions. So you can keep putting them in as and when you have questions. And now I'm really, really happy to introduce you all to the program coach, Sangeeta Manikam. So she is a passionate physiotherapist. She is based out in Coimbatore, and she specializes in prenatal and postnatal therapies and also postural education, natural birthing techniques. And she is very efficiently handling physical in-person group as well as online sessions. She's working very closely with women's health, physical health as well as mental health. And currently she's also working with an eminent team of expert gynecologists at Women's Center by Motherhood Hospitals, which is based out in Coimbatore. So we're very happy to have you with us, Sangeeta, and I'm going to hand over the session to you now to take it forward. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hi all, I'm Sangeeta. I'm a physiotherapist. I have completed my master's in physiotherapy and diploma in yoga. At present, I'm practicing at Women's Center by Motherhood Hospitals at Coimbatore. Generally, we are doing a prenatal, postnatal sessions for the pregnant women. Then general education and the counseling session to them also we are doing. By today's session, we are going to see the general topics. I'm not going to teach any exercise in this session. We are going to see a general education by this session. If you have any doubts, please note it in the paper, and otherwise you will forget. You can ask me in the end of the session. Just share the screen. We are doing a nothing. We are doing a strengthening and stretching protocol to the women who is pregnant and to the women who is non-pregnant, who are in their middle adulthood and in the later adulthood. This session mainly we are focusing for the pregnant couples. Through these sessions, we are making the pregnant couples life, that pregnancy period, little more enjoyable with much confidence. We are doing nothing. We are already we are exposed to the exercises, stretching and strengthening kind of protocols, but we are not aware of the exercise what we have to do in the pregnancy period. That is what I am going to do through this session. That is nothing. Prenatal and postnatal education and the exercise sessions. Strengthening, we are making the muscles strengthen. Stretching, we are making the muscles flexible for that. In this pregnancy period, we have to make the muscles flexible. We have to focus on the flexibility of the muscle. That is what we want when you are pregnant. Because if you have a more flexible muscle, that will promote the normal delivery. That's why we have to make the muscle flexible as much possible. We are doing a customized exercise plan for the couple. Postnatal period, it is nothing but immediately after the delivery. That is called a postnatal period or postpartum. That comes under 4 to 6 weeks of the period. That is called a postnatal period. Prenatal, it is antenatal or pregnancy period. That is called pregnancy or antenatal or prenatal period. This is what we are doing. In the pregnancy session, it covers prenatal education and the exercise session and the labor counseling and postnatal session. Postnatal education that I tell you in the next slides. What are the other conditions we are treating? Vaginismus that I explain you in the next slide. Uterine prolapse, urinary incontinence, diastasis, rectus abdominis muscle, hernia, post-menopause conditioning. I explain you what is vaginismus. It is nothing but tightening of your vagina when something entering into the vagina. This is very common immediately after the marriage. Some may experience it. Next, uterine prolapse. This is very common after the middle or the later adulthood. After the menopause, this is very common. Then with the women who is doing a maximum weightlifting activity, that may prompt to this uterine prolapse. In this condition, uterus will descend down to the vaginal canal. It means birth canal. That is called uterine prolapse. You may feel some kind of discomforts when you walk or while doing some activities. That is called uterine prolapse. Urinary incontinence, inability to hold the urine. The frequency of the urination will be more, the control will be less. This is called urinary incontinence. Diastasis rectus abdominis. This is a muscle in our abdomen which covers the front portion of our abdomen. When you're pregnant, your rectus abdominis muscle will stretch. Once you deliver, that has to go to that neutral position. but that automatically will not go. In the previous years, mothers were doing some household chores, they were doing some hard works, so automatically the muscle will go to the shortened state. But nowadays we are ideal, we are not doing much works, even the household chores also we are not doing, so the separation will be there for the period once you start the exercise. At least the basic exercises we have to start immediately after the delivery, otherwise the separation will not close. That leads to the separation, diastasis in the rectus abdominis muscle. This leads to hernia. The content of your abdomen will come out through that gap in the rectus abdominis muscle. Very common, the umbilical hernia that we see in the next slide. Hernia. This is when there is a separation in your abdominal muscle. What will happen is the abdomen content will come out from the come out through that separation. That is called hernia. Then post-menopausal conditioning. Menopause means end of your period. That is called menopause. After completion of your periods, it means in the later adulthood. This is for the elderly people. They will face so many physical and mental changes. Like in the physical, they feel kind of lethargic, the tiredness, fatigue, they cannot do a long activity, they cannot even walk for a 5 to 10 minutes, they feel very tired, they cannot handle the household chores, the joint pain will start, mentally they feel irritated, some mood swings will be there, then maximum weight gain will be there. These are the common discomforts they face immediately after their menopause. That's why we are advising to do exercises. We generally make an exercise specifically for them that they can follow regularly. That is what conditioning is nothing but just doing an exercise. We are conditioning our body, we are making our muscles flexible and strengthy. That is called post-menopausal conditioning. So what we are doing, prenatal sessions and postnatal session, and some other conditions like this vaginismus, uterine prolapse, urinary incontinence, diastasis rectus abdominis, hernia, and postmenopausal conditioning. Now you are clear with these things. We see some things. What are the basic physical changes you face when you are pregnant? First thing, weight gain due to the growing breast, uterus, and the baby. That leads to postural change. That is change in the alignment of your body. That is called a postural change. Basically, your curvature of your back will increase. That is called lordosis. Then flexibility of your muscle and the joint will increase due to the hormone, but the strength will not be there. That leads to pain in your joint. That due to the laxity, that relaxation, that leads to increased fall risk. Next, that leads to strain and sprain due to the increased fall risk and the laxity. This is what the basics change when you face when you are pregnant. Weight gain, postural change, joint pain, and the strain and sprain in the ligament and in the muscles. Some other common discomfort due to the growing baby, some breathing difficulties will be there because of the compression of your lungs, leg cramp. There are so many reasons due to the dehydration. When you're pregnant, your body temperature will increase. That also leads to this leg cramp. Then increase in the decrease in the temperature. When you're in the early morning, the temperature will reduce. That leads to leg cramp. When you are severely anemic, that also lead to this leg cramp. Next, swelling in the legs and in the joints. That's very common. When you are in the second trimester, it is very, very common. Then urinary incontinence, the frequency of the urination will be little more. And the inability, the lack of control will be there in the bladder. Then the back pain due to the increased curvature. Then stiffness in the sides of your body, abdomen, back and the groin area pain due to the stretching of your pelvic area due to the growing baby. Wrist pain, that is very common. Increased fluid retention in your body leads to this wrist pain. Some numbness will be there in the wrist. Heartburn and bloating, that is most commonly caused by the pushing of your abdomen content towards the chest. That leads to that burning and bloating kind of sensation. When you have a spicy or oily food, that you definitely experience a burning or bloating sensation over your chest. Then other joint pain that I told you due to the laxity. Then the varicose vein, due to the stagnancy in your blood vessel, that leads to the pooling of the blood in the legs. That is called a varicose vein. Then what are the benefits of exercises? So we know what are the discomforts you face when you're pregnant. How we have to avoid that or eliminate that. Exercise is the only way we will help with that. Definitely, when you exercise when you're pregnant, that help you to improve the flexibility, then help you to increase the duration of your activity. That is called endurance, flexibility, and increasing the duration of your activity. If you start doing something, you feel tired, so you will not continue the activity. So that may irritate you. So if you exercise when you're pregnant, that will increase the endurance of your body, so you can continue the activity little longer. It helps in the prevention of pain when you're pregnant due to the physical changes caused by the hormonal reason. Next, increasing the pain tolerance. That the benefit we generally know. Help you to manage the labor pain once your labor starts. Once your labor, it means once your labor delivery pain starts, it help you to manage. Then it helps in the processing of your labor. It will help you to fasten the labor process. If it is generally, if it takes 1 day to 1.5 days, if you are exercising in the pregnancy, that help you to reduce the duration of your labor, means delivery pain. It helps in the increasing chance for normal vaginal delivery. That is the most must wanted thing. Next, the postnatal recovery. After the delivery, it helps you to recover faster. It helps in reduce or maintain the hypertension and the diabetes when you're pregnant. Then it helps to reduce the risk for post-operative complications. Helps in the positive influence of labor and delivery. If you are already prepared for that, you feel you have much confidence than others, so easily you will face through that labor phase. So it helps in the flexibility, endurance, pain tolerance. It helps in the fastening process of your labor, increasing the chance for the normal delivery. It reducing the complication in the pregnancy and the after delivery, and helps in the positive influence on your labor and delivery. These are the benefits we can obtain through exercises. Those three by the prenatal sessions. The protocol for that is we have to consult first, then we can get an education about the pregnancy. Then we customize, we make an exercise protocol for you. We give exercise charts and video clips. If needed, we are doing a monitoring session. After some period, after if you are attending the first session in the 3rd, 4th month, we have to attend the next session when you are in the 5th or 6th month. After that, we have to come for the review, and we can, based on the reports and all, we can learn some other exercises. I told you prenatal and postnatal session. In the prenatal session, we are covering prenatal education. What is pregnancy? What are the changes will be there? What are the common discomforts? The kind of things, common do's and don'ts, what we have to do, what not to do, discomforts, how to manage it, then exercise session. In the labor and postnatal counseling, it covers what is labor, symptoms of labor, what are the stages in the labor, how to use the exercise in the labor. It means when you are in the hospital, how you have to use the exercises. Then preparation for the hospital stay. What are the things you have to keep ready for the hospital stay? Then how your partner can support you when you are in the labor. These are the things we will see in the labor. Next, the postnatal. It covers what are the common do's and don'ts after the delivery, some breastfeeding positions and do's and don'ts, then general development of the baby. These are the things we will see in the labor and postnatal counseling. Today's session, we are going to see about the prenatal. So why we need the session? This is what I have to say first, because nowadays people want a normal delivery in throughout the world. The chances for the normal delivery has reduced. The number of normal delivery has reduced due to the fear, first thing, because lack of awareness. Second thing, the physical condition of the mother. That is the main two reason leads to that reduced number in the normal delivery. If you are if you have an exercising flexible body, the chances will automatically increase for the normal delivery. If you have a confidence, definitely you will go for the normal delivery. You won't have any hesitation or any fear. Confidently you will face the normal delivery, face the labor. Due to the fear only, maximum 50% of the people going for the C-section. Mostly the planned sections they are going for. That is called the elective section, elective C-section, cesarean section. So by these sessions, we are giving you advice or education about your pregnancy and the labor. So you will get, you will gain a confidence. So you will go, definitely you will ready for the labor. Why you need consultation? Because nowadays there are so many exercises in the YouTube and the Instagram kind of things, but you have to check, will it suit you or not? You don't know. Definitely your doctor can tell you to exercise, but you have to consult a correct therapist or a physiotherapist or an instructor properly. Otherwise, if you generally without blindly, if you follow the exercise of from the YouTube of something, what will happen? It may lead to preterm, because we have to see some things like the cervix length and the baby position, fluid level, kind of things we have to see. Mother's condition, how she is, whether she have a diabetes or a hypertension or some other complication genetically or by in between acquired anything. If they have, we have to specifically make the exercise for them. We cannot generally follow the same exercise that you can do, but you have to check before that whether you can do it or not. That's why you need a consultation before you start an exercise when you're pregnant. When you're non-pregnant, no problem with that, you can do anything you want. But when you have a baby inside you, you have to think twice. I explained you already. Okay, hope you're all clear with this. Now we see about the education and the do's and don'ts and the common discomforts. Okay. Now we see about the education and the common do's and don'ts and the common discomforts in the pregnancy. Okay, this is the female reproductive area, the pelvis area, when you're in the non-pregnancy state. This is the non-pregnant uterus structure. In this, we have to see the three things that parts mentioned there, that uterus, cervix, and the vagina. Uterus that holds the baby, we all know. Cervix, it's the mouth of that uterus, that is called cervix. Then vagina, entry point to that cervix is called as vagina. Uterus, cervix, and the vagina. This is the structure of your pelvis, pelvic organ. We are generally dividing our pregnancy into 3 trimesters. First 3 months, next 3 months, after that. First 1 to 12 weeks, that is called first trimester. 13 to 27 weeks, second trimester. 28th to 40th week, third trimester. Maximum time period is 40 weeks, but you can expect the delivery pain or a labor after 36th week. By 36 weeks, your baby will attain the maximum growth and maturation. This is the internal view of your body when you're non-pregnant. So it is a small balloon-like structure which is inside the pelvic area, that is called uterus. When you are in the 8th week, your baby size will be like this small, like a coin-like structure. It is like a balloon which is filled with water. Inside that, your baby will be there. Some rubber-like, jelly-like structure will be there inside that. That is called placenta. That cord will be connected to the baby to transport the nutrition from the mother to the baby. Placenta and the cord, then baby. This is how your baby is growing inside the uterus. This is the 12th week pregnant uterus structure. By the 8th week, you can hear the baby's heartbeat. By 12th week, every organ will be formed there. After that, the maturation process will take over that in that remaining weeks. 20th week. Now we can visibly see the pop-up abdomen, tummy by your 4th, 5th month. 28th week. So half of the abdomen is filled with your baby. 36th week, only small portion is there for your abdominal content. Remaining portion is fully occupied with your baby. So by this time, your baby will attain the maximum growth and maturation. This is the 40th week. Maximum, your doctor will not wait for this 40 weeks because your baby's weight will increase. When it is extending more than 3 or 3.3 or something, the chances for normal delivery will reduce. If you are non-exercising person, what will happen? Your baby will get excessive weight. So the chances will automatically reduce. This is the size of the baby. It's like a cherry, lemon, orange, then small papaya. Then it's like a watermelon. At the end of the 9th month, the 10th month, its weights around 2.5 to 3.3 or maximum 3. That is the ideal weight for the normal delivery. When it's exceeding more than 3.3 or 5, in some cases only, we can expect normal delivery. Maximum, they go for the C-section because of the mismatch of the pelvis and the baby's head. Different baby positions in the womb. The first two, that anterior and the posterior, that is called a cephalic position, head downward position. Next, the third one, breech presentation, head will be in the upper portion. Then transverse position, it's like a horizontal position. That anterior and posterior position is preferable for the normal delivery. Breech that will not that is not a preferable position for normal delivery. Also the transverse position. But some babies will be in the breech presentation, but automatically they will turn to the cephalic position when they enter into the 34, 36 weeks. That also will happen in the 95% cases. But when they are in the cephalic position, 99.9% they won't turn. They maintain the same position because that is a most comfortable position, then preferable for the normal delivery also. Next, scan. These are the scans they do throughout your pregnancy. In the first, the second month of your pregnancy, they do a viability scan. By that scan, you can hear the baby's heartbeat. Next, the early fetal scan. Through that, you can check for the circulation to your baby's brain. Next, genetical abnormality by 20 to 23rd week. Next, baby's development scan. To check the baby's upper body and lower body growth by your end of the second trimester. When you enter into the third trimester, they do a baby development scan. After that, positioning scan, just to check the position of your baby, whether they are in the cephalic or in the breech presentation. When you cross the 36 weeks, they do a NST test that is called a non-stress test, just to check the and record the baby's heartbeat and the contraction and the movements. That is called NST, non-stress test. Generally, they do that procedure after the 36th week. Then after the 36th week, if you have any discharges or any pain, they do a vaginal examination. Your physician will do that by inserting a finger inside the vagina, and they do a examination that is called a vaginal examination or PV. Through that, they can check for the effacement. It means thinning process of your cervix. Then they can look for the opening in your cervix. That is called a vaginal examination. So first scan, it is for the viability, baby's heartbeat checking. The next one, circulation to the brain. Next one, genetical abnormality, like Down syndrome kind of things. We can check through that anomaly scan. After that, baby development, then position and growth scan, then NST after the 36th week. Common changes, we all know that I explained you earlier: weight gain, postural change, increasing the curvature, and the joint pain and the laxity, and strain and strain in the ligaments and the muscle. Benefit, I told you, increasing the flexibility and the endurance, help you to maintain the weight when you're pregnant. It helps in the gradual weight gain, 1 to 1.5, that is the ideal weight gain per month. Then help you to reduce or prevent swelling, cramp, and the tiredness and breathing difficulty. Helps in the positive influence of labor and delivery, increasing the chances for normal delivery. Helps to reduce the risk for risk in the labor, and help you to reduce the chances for the C-section. Helps in the shorter reducing the duration of your labor, making your baby taller, increasing the baby's tolerance for labor. When you're in the labor pain, your baby also should face through that stress. Helps in the reduction of diabetes and the hypertension. Then when you should not exercise. When you have a severe anemia, reduced hemoglobin count, cardiac problem, any genetical abnormality, or any neurological related problem, if you have a recurrent termination kind of things, you should not exercise. If your doctor says okay, then you can do. Otherwise, you should not practice any exercise when you're pregnant. In hypertension, uncontrolled hypertension, seizure, that means fits. Then hyperthyroid. When you have a hypothyroid, that is not that severe, you can practice some exercises. But when you have a hyperthyroid, you just do a controlled exercise. Then when you have to meet a doctor, if you have some discomforts or some unusual symptoms like vaginal bleed, any painful contractions, any fluid leak from the vagina, breathing difficulty, severe breathing difficulty, headache, dizziness or fainting, chest pain, when there is a disturbance in your body balance, cough pain and the swelling. When you are at rest or active, if you have these sensation or a discomfort, you immediately have to meet your doctor. If you have a pain or a burning sensation while urinating, sudden swelling in the face and in the feet, increased body temperature, then continuous vomiting or a vomiting sensation, that is called a nausea. These are the symptoms. These are the warning signs to meet the doctor. Any bleeding or leaking from the vagina, any cramping, it means that contraction or a tightening over the abdomen, or a vaginal discharge, backache, increased pressure in the abdomen or heaviness, any altered motion pattern. Okay. These are the warning signs to discontinue the exercise, or it means you should not exercise. In that cases, you have to meet your doctor first. So this is what I mentioned you, I explained you in the previous slide, the increased curvature in the back. This right picture, the third picture, that is the normal spine, normal back. When you're pregnant, due to the growing baby, your curvature of your back will increase. That is called increased lordosis. That's why due to the compression of your back bones, that leads to the back pain, radiating pain. Then common do's and don'ts during pregnancy. They have so many doubts, like how to sleep, how to go to the bed, how to get up from the bed. While lying down, you have to sit first, then you have to go to the side lying position, then you can turn. Getting up also, you have to come to the side lying position, then you have to sit, then you can stand. Mostly we prefer left side lying position. When you lie down on the right, that is not a dependable position for your stomach. When you have a spicy, oily food, that leads to heartburn or a bloating kind of sensation when you lie down on the right side. One more reason, maximum blood vessels are there in the right side. When you lie down on the right for long time, what will happen is the circulation to your brain will reduce. That leads to dizziness or fainting when you change that position. That's why we tell you to avoid lie down on the right side. So we prefer left side lying position. While working or doing some activity or sitting for a long time, you can keep on pillow over the back. That will help you to reduce the chances for the back pain. Then position to stand and sit should be always erect. When you are in the erect position, your baby will be in the vertical position. If you sit in the slouched, bended position, what will happen is your baby will be in the cross position. What will happen when you are in the labor, your baby will first come to the straight position, then it has to descend, it has to come down. So it will long time for the baby to fit to your pelvis. That's why we tell you to sit and stand erect. Otherwise, the duration of your labor will increase. Like this. It should be like this. While lifting something from the floor, you have to bend and take the object. You can do a squat or a knee sitting position. This is how you have to take the object. Like straight away, you should not bend and you should not take the object. While doing some household chores, you can keep, when you are working near the vessel or you're doing some vessel washing, you can keep on footstool near that sink. Then you can keep one leg over that. So it will be like a supported position. So you can feel comfortable for a longer time. Then after that, after some time, you can change the leg. So you won't get back pain and you won't get much swelling in the foot. In cross-leg sitting, this is not advisable to everyone. Based on their cervix length and all, we can advise them whether to do or not. Then sleeping position, you can use these C pillows because you can rest your head, you can support your abdomen, you can keep the legs over that. Then you will not turn to the face downward position when you are in the sleeping time. So that's why we generally advise C pillows. Then you can use normal pillows also. You can keep the one pillow between the thighs, or you can keep the leg over the pillow. That will be the comfortable position when you're for the sleep. Seat belt always should not be over the tummy. It has to be in the lower portion of your tummy. While working, we teach some exercises by this ball also. Along with that, you can do some exercises. That is called Swiss ball exercises. That also we teach you in the exercise session. While walking also, you can use that ball, so you feel little comfortable, so you won't feel you are doing exercises or something. You can comfortably sit over the ball and you can do the work. Then when you are using the normal chair, you can keep on pillow on the back. Then you have to rest your back. Then you have to keep your foot over the footstool or something. It should be in the little elevated position just to prevent leg swelling. Then sleeping time, at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep will be required for the general development of your baby. Water intake, frequently you have to take some water, at least every half an hour, 45 minutes, just for a half tumbler or 1 tumbler water you have to take, just to keep your body hydrated. Then you feel little more comfortable. You won't feel that kind of a burning sensation or a discomfort in your body. Then water while walking, definitely you can take. Generally we advise for a intermittent walking. You have to walk for 5 to 10 minutes, then you can take 1 or 2 minutes gap. After that you have to continue for 10 minutes gap, then you can continue. In that gap you can sit for 1 minute, sit and stand, then take some water, then again you can continue. It should be with your own speed. There is no need to walk fast or slow. It should be on your own speed. This is what we generally advise. Maximum 30 to 40 minutes of walking will be enough. General discomforts in the early pregnancy, motion difficulty will be there, indigestion, nausea, vomiting kind of sensation, frequent urination, headache, backache. These are the general discomfort. Generally, you face it in the first trimester, first 3 months of your pregnancy. That is very common. That is actually untreatable. You have to take rest for that. That is the only remedy you can give. Common discomforts, this I explained you already. Leg cramp, sudden pull in the leg swelling, and the varicose vein, the twisted blood vessels in the back of your leg, wrist pain and the numbness, heartburn. We generally advise for a 3/4 intake. That intermittent dieting that will help you to prevent that burning and the bloating. If you have a full stomach, you feel like bloated or heavy. When you have a 3/4 semi-liquid farm food, you feel much better. You won't, you can get rid from that burning sensation and the bloating. Back pain, that is very common. So the management for this is only exercises and some other remedies. By tomorrow's session, we are going to take the labor, few topics from labor and the general exercises that is common to everyone. Then based on the scan report, everyone after the consultation, we can go for the labor exercises and the labor counseling. Tomorrow we are going to cover symptoms of labor and the preparation for the hospital stay and the common exercises. Hope I finish my session with this. Hope you all understand this.
All right. So thank you so much, Sangeeta, for a really, really comprehensive, presentation. And I would request the participants, if there are any questions, any doubts, anything that you wish to get a more clear idea of, please share it in the chat box and we will take them up. Also, Sangeeta, maybe you can take down your screen and I will quickly share my screen. All right, so just to revise a few things regarding tomorrow's session. So tomorrow we will be having an interactive training session. So basically, I'm sure that you all have understood by now that the major reason that or the aim of these sessions are basically to lower the complications and risk, to ease the discomforts, to learn a safe exercise plan, and also to maintain a healthy body and mind during your pregnancy. And also, a few program highlights that you will be getting trained in pregnancy safe strengthening practices. You already have a basic prenatal education, and also you will learn exercises to ease down any common pregnancy related discomforts. Tomorrow, as Sangeeta mentioned, that labor symptoms, preparation for hospital stay will be shared with you all. And we will also be doing more doubt solving via the live Q&A in tomorrow's session. All right, so this is just a revision of what we already, have planned for you tomorrow. So 30th October, Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. It's going to be a practical session, so you have to practice along. And these are exercises which are relatively safe for everyone. It will be done under the guidance and monitoring of Sangeeta. She will also be talking about labor symptoms to look out for, how to prepare for the hospital stay, and of course, if you have any questions, that will be taken up as well. Both the sessions are being recorded, so you will have a recording access for 1 year, and you will also get a downloadable exercise sheet. Apart from that, we got a few questions with respect to participation certification. So if that is something that you wish to have, this is applicable for people who are attending both the sessions, today's and tomorrow's. If you wish to get a participation certificate, then on demand, we can provide that as well. So if you wish to make a booking for tomorrow's session, you can use the QR code on the screen. The price is $4.99. And in case, for any reason you're not able to make an online payment, you can use also the GPay or Paytm number, which is projected on the screen. I will also be sharing the same in the chat box. Apart from this, I would also like to quickly tell you that we have an option for personalized consultation as well. So if you're someone like Sangeeta mentioned that, the process of personalized, consultation could be that she will actually be looking at your reports and giving you a more personalized and customized plan, depending upon your own health condition and fetal conditions. So what's basically included in this is a 30-minute consultation call with her, where she will check in your reports and generally ask you more about your condition. And also there'll be one live practical session with her. That'll be one-to-one, and you will learn customized practices which are very, very specific to your stage of pregnancy and your stage of health. So if you wish to buy a combo offer, so you wish to buy, the session as well as the personal consultation, we have an offer for you that can be purchased at 1399, and you can use this particular QR code for that. So let's take up a few questions now, Sangeeta. We see a few questions in the chat. So I'm going to quickly read them out to you. So, so Ashreya says that if there is a vitamin D deficiency, then what would you recommend? Is there anything that you would recommend?
Okay. Generally, when you enter your third or fourth month, your doctor will advise a vitamin D supplement. You generally you have to take that. That is the only we additionally we need vitamin D when you're pregnant. When there is a lack of sunlight exposure, that may also leads to vitamin deficiency. Just concentrate on that. Just expose yourself to the sunlight at least for 10 minutes every day. The before 11, 4 to 5 time, that will be very much comfortable. You can expose yourself to the sunlight. Ideally, sitting will not be comfortable. You can do a small walk in the sunlight. That will be fine. Along with it, you have to take vitamin D and the calcium. That will be fine. When there is a vitamin D deficiency, you feel like a tired, a fatigue, then irritation, then some kind of itching sensation over your skin will be there. These are the common symptoms of vitamin D that you have to look for that. You have to consult your doctor, then get a supplement. Generally, your doctor will advise when you're in the third, fourth month. There's no need to worry for that. Okay.
Next question is from Abhirami. She says, when can a working woman take leave during pregnancy? That's the maternity leave.
Okay. If you are very comfortable with your work, you can take leave after your 34th or 35th week. If it is a strain, if you are facing so much strain, you are struggling to work when you are in the third trimester, you can start your leave after your 30th week. You can take your maternity leave after 30th week. If you are really comfortable, you can start your leave after 35th week. Then you can spend little extra time after the delivery with your baby. Yeah.
Monica says, thank you so much. Very informative session. And will you be explaining the exercises tomorrow? So yes, Monica, tomorrow the exercises will be covered along with the labor symptoms as well as the preparation for the hospital stay. Prashant Kumar says, is there any exercise which is recommended for the period before conceiving while planning of pregnancy?
Yeah, definitely it is there. But we have to consult, we have to look for the general condition of your health. Then we can prescribe you the exercise.
And you have mentioned about some scan. Does scan mean ultrasound test or is it some other kind of scan?
It's definitely the ultrasound scan. That is what we have to do when you're pregnant. No other scan, we won't expose yourself to the other scans when you're pregnant. The ultrasound scan. That is what they do.
Abhirami says, when can a mother return back to work after childbirth?
Sorry?
So yeah, the question is, when can a mother return back to work after childbirth?
After the 6th month of your delivery, that generally I advise. After the 6th month, at least for the 6th month, 6 months, you have to exclusively feed your baby, breastfeed. That's why if you are in the leave, it will be very much comfortable to you to feed your baby, to take care of your baby. So after the 6th month of your delivery, you can go to your work. You can restart. If you're doing business, no problem. If you go to work office and you have to work there now, take 6 months leave. Additionally, 1 or 2 months extra you will take.
And if in case they need to return back soon, then what supportive aids are required?
Can you repeat again?
So the question is, in case they need to return back soon, then what are the supportive aids that are required?
Okay, what kind of work you are doing? Actually, whose question is that? Abhirami or?
Yes.
Abhirami. Okay. What kind of work she is doing?
Abhirami is a physiotherapist.
Okay. Okay. If you are really comfortable, if you are doing your own, you're running your own clinic, then no problem. Definitely you can go to your work. You can take care of your baby because already you are in the medical field. So no problem. You know how to take care of your baby. But if you are going to office, you have to sit in front to system or something. Then you take leave. Then after the 6th month, you can continue. You can start doing your work again. Working in maternity hospital. Okay, then fine. If they have some daycare or something, you can tell your parents or someone to bring the baby. Then you can feed the baby. Then you can give it to them back. Then you can express and store the milk in the fridge or something. They will teach you. Then you can give the breastfeed to the baby by that expressed method. Someone will help you in that. If possible, you directly go and feed the baby. In between, they help you to fill that gap.
So Divya Yadav says how to increase the physical strength for a normal delivery.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
How to increase physical strength for normal delivery.
How to increase the physical strength. Actually, when you're pregnant, you have to increase the flexibility and the strength of your body. That is why we are doing exercise when you're pregnant. Okay, that will help you to increase the tolerance of the labor, and that will help you to promote or increase the chances for normal delivery. So we need both strength and the flexibility for the normal delivery. That will increase the chance for normal delivery. Yeah.
Right. So Divya, we would really be happy if you could, come for the session tomorrow, because you will surely learn the exercises, to strengthen your body, a general plan of action for you tomorrow. So it would be great if you could join the session tomorrow. Question from Monica Ahuja. Breast tenderness is okay, but what could be the reason if somebody feels pain in the breast?
Okay. Generally, some people will experience pain in the breast, but the tenderness is very common. You can by the stretching exercise to your upper body, that will help you to get rid from that tenderness and the pain. That pain that is little uncommon, but what you can do is you can apply some hot pack by doing gentle movements. You can reduce the pain in the chest area. Due to the hormonal reason, you're getting that pain and the tenderness. Yeah.
All right. So Abhirami says safe month to join back. What would be the safe month to join back? Like, I think she means post delivery.
Yeah. Definitely. I told you, after the 6th month, that is the correct time period. At least for 6 months, you have to be with your baby.
And she said, thanks a lot. It was a very useful session.
Thank you.
Right. So we're very glad that you found the session useful, and we hope that you also join for the session tomorrow. Monica says, can you explain once again what can be done to relieve pain?
Okay, we can do some exercises. Except that you can apply hot pack, or you can heat some oil, general coconut oil or olive oil, something. Just apply over which suits you. Just apply over the breast. That will help you to reduce the pain. Some tenderness that will reduce. The sensitivity will reduce little bit. So you may feel little comfortable. Yeah, thank you.
Great. So, all right, as of now, I don't see any new questions. So if there are any other questions, please, type them in the chat, or you can also let us know in the WhatsApp group. And regarding the recording, we will be sharing with you this particular recording in the group for you to, have a look again. Quite a lot was covered, and it would really help for you to revisit it. And Okay, Divya says how to reduce backache.
There are a variety of exercises are there. For that, to teach them the back strengthening or a pelvic floor strengthening exercises, we have to consult first, then only we can prescribe them the exercise. Without considering the scan, we cannot advise the exercise. Sorry with that.
So
Yeah.
that would be the safest way to go about. And for that, Divya, it would be best to just sign up for a personal consultation so that Sangeeta can, guide you on that. So sure, I can share the links again with you. So in case anyone is interested, I'm going to share so the combo offer is something that you can opt for probably, where you can attend tomorrow's session. Along with that, you also, so this is the, one-on-one consultation program where you get 1 30-minute consultation call with Sangeeta, where she'll go through your reports, and then one live practical session apart from the one that's tomorrow. So the practical session, which is part of the personal consultation, will be absolutely personalized and customized as per your requirements and as per what is safe for you. So the combo offer includes tomorrow's session as well as one personal consultation call and one practical session. So for that, you can use this QR code and get in touch with her. All right, so I don't see any more new questions. So I think we are good to wind up for today. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Any concluding thoughts, Sangeeta?
Yeah, nothing. Hope you all understand the things.
Yes.
See you next session. Yes.
All right. Okay, great. So, right. So thank you so much again for joining us for the session today. And we really look forward to seeing you all for the session tomorrow as well. We'll soon be sharing a couple of, prerequisites tomorrow morning in the WhatsApp group so that you are well prepared for the session tomorrow. Thank you everyone again for joining. Have a good evening. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you.